Today, history isn't just being made, it's being written in the streets. You're looking at what experts are calling the largest single day of political demonstration in American history. It's called No Kings, and as of right now, over 9 million people across 3,300 cities have walked out to send one message. The presidency is an office, not a throne. While the crowds in New York City have brought Manhattan to a standstill, the emotional heart of this movement is in St. Paul, Minnesota. The massive turnout there is fueled by the tragic deaths of Renee Good and Alex Priddy, two residents killed during the federal immigration crackdown known as Operation Metro Surge. Their names have become the rallying cry for a movement that has now spread far beyond the big cities. In a massive shift, nearly 70% of today's protests are happening in rural towns and red states. From Idaho to Kentucky, people are crossing party lines to push back against the month-old war in Iran and the ongoing government shutdown. It's even gone global, with massive solidarity marches hitting the streets in Paris, London, and Berlin.
I'm not gonna live in a country where our president is a criminal. I'm not gonna stand for it. I'm not gonna grow up in an environment like that. Immigrants built this country. There's no denying that. They built everything that we have. So if you want to take them away, you can fight us. I'm not gonna have suppression on who I love and the people that I surround myself with. Plenty of my friends are immigrants and they belong in this country.
My parents grew up, they were lifelong Republicans. They were lifelong, very conservative
and they still
people.
Are.
But then my mom became more and more enraged as she saw what was going on with the country, and I have always been enraged with injustice, and we're ready to fight. We're ready to stand up. We're ready to be peaceful about it, but we're ready to be here. I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of them having a voice.
Across the United States, millions of people are marching to voice their anger over President Donald Trump's policies. More than 3,000 protests are taking place nationwide. We are here in St. Paul, Minnesota at the flagship protest. This is the third wave of demonstrations under the No Kings banner, a slogan that protesters here tell me is meant to send a message that the power belongs to the people, not one person.
Well, as citizens of the United States, this is our country. We have government, but right now our government isn't working for us. We have a king, a dictator, that needs to go. And the power lies with us.
The Minneapolis-St. Paul area was selected as the main event for this round of No Kings protests after the Trump administration's recent immigration crackdown here. The raids left 2 people dead, Renee Good and Alex Priddy.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tonight, organizers estimate millions are hitting the streets from coast to coast and beyond, protesting the Trump administration and its policies.
We are all fighting. We are fighting for America.
Thousands of marches planned in all 50 states. It's round 3 of major demonstrations in the No Kings movement. Organizers predicted it to be the single largest nonviolent day of action in American history, and choosing St. Paul for the flagship event.
Justice for Reagan, justice for good.
Joe McCoy from our Minneapolis NBC affiliate is there.
People arrived at the Minnesota State Capitol starting at 8 a.m. today. Concerns over immigration enforcement are top of protesters' minds following the killings of Renee Good and Alex Priddy earlier this year.
And in New York,
people filling the streets here in Midtown Manhattan. Many of them have been to the previous No Kings rallies, but they say the enforcement action on immigration and the war in Iran have brought them out to the streets again. What's brought you personally out here to No Kings today?
What brought me out here is that war and how things are being done in this country now.
Dana Griffin is in Los Angeles.
LA crowds are known for pushing the limits, so steel gates have been installed at nearby freeway on-ramps to prevent protesters from disrupting traffic.
People also rallying around the world in Rome, Madrid, Paris, and Athens. At another march in London, one protester telling our Danielle Hamamdjian this about the United States.
What are your views on America at this moment in time?
A sad, sad story.
People on a California beach spelling out this message with their bodies.
Donald Trump!
and hundreds gathering in reliably red Brunswick County, North Carolina. Demonstrations peaceful nationwide. The White House dismissing it all, saying in a statement, the only people who care about these Trump derangement therapy sessions are reporters who are paid to cover them.
Steve Romo joins us now from New York. Stephen, what are organizers saying about how widespread?
But what do you make about being here at No Kings 3?
Well, also at our age, we were doing this in the 60s. So just to continue, it just seems like ridiculous that we're still having to protest. So many issues.
So many issues, yeah. I'm overwhelmed about everything. That no ICE, no war.
We want to let people know inside that they were not forgotten and not alone.
Donald Trump's weekend has been ruined as the No Kings protest is bigger than anybody expected. Now, as you know, today is the third No Kings protest, and the first two were massive, each one record-breaking, with crowds across the country. Well, we are seeing that again today, with massive crowds in major cities across the country, and we're just getting started. Plus, we're seeing them around the world, and you better believe Donald Trump, who is addicted to social media, is seeing every bit of this. But more than that, he is seeing this in special elections, as Democrats have been rolling because of turnout that is favoring them. And also, Mar-a-Lago is now represented by a Democrat. That is the power of these protests. People know they're not alone. They know that there's others out there, and we're building momentum, and we got to keep this momentum all the way through November, because what we're feeling today, the energy we're feeling, the positivity we are feeling, is only going to be magnified come November if the
Thousands of people have come out here in New York City today to take part in the No Kings protest. And there are through lines that have been present at every single one of these. Immigration, the treatment of our immigrant neighbors, the actions of federal agents, of course, at the forefront consistently. As someone who's covered protests for their entire career, one of the things that has consistently stood out to me about the No Kings protest movement that's made it different from other protest movements and moments in this country is that while people are outraged, they are concerned, especially here in a city like New York, a city of immigrants living what this administration is doing day in and day out on the front lines, they still bring with them a sense of humor, of joy, of silliness. I mean, there are people always here in costumes. There are people who tell you that they have spent days or weeks coming up with the most clever or crazy thing they could possibly do with their sign. They bring their kids here, their pets, and dress them up in costumes too. And while that all may just seem like fun and games, I think it's actually an important part of the DNA of this movement, which is that in the face of feeling like someone is trying to dismantle who you are or what your country was always meant to be, that you're going to be joyful anyway.
Seen massive turnout with the No Kings Day protest today, 3.0, larger than the two original protests, I think. I think when the numbers finally come in, we're going to see that this is significantly bigger. I know in Fort Lauderdale, we had a larger crowd than we've had the previous two times, and I attended all three at the site along Fort Lauderdale Beach. And I think there are several reasons for this. One, people are angry. They're angry about this war in Iran that Donald Trump promised everybody that he would not do. People are angry about the gas prices as a result of this war. They're going to be more angry about the food prices and the rest of everything we're going to see. That's not hit yet, but that's coming. People are very upset about that. You can see in the polls right now, 60% of Americans do not approve of Donald Trump of the war. 60% don't approve of Donald Trump's handling of everything. They're unhappy about tariffs, about inflation, prices, happy about the Epstein files that The rich seem to be protected, that there is never a penalty for them. They're unhappy about immigration policy. They're unhappy about everything pretty much within the country. And you see it registered. We saw it in Florida this week where we had 2 seats, one in Mar-a-Lago where Donald Trump lives, flipped from Republican to Democrat. Another in Tampa, same thing, flipped from Republican to Democrat, and more examples. We see it in 20-some races, special elections across the country in the last year or so. Since Donald Trump has been president, they've all flipped from Republican to Democrat. We see it, 36 members of the House of Representatives, Republicans, including committee chairman, are not running again. 7 Republican senators are not running again. Why, Donald Trump? Because if it's so great and everything's so good, they would be running, but they know what's coming. They know they're going to lose the House. They know they're going to lose the Senate. They can see what's going on in the public and all the consequences, financial and others, from this war that you got us in unnecessarily. Those are coming. So again, people are not happy. That's why we're seeing these massive turnouts, and we'll continue to see them between now and Election Day. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my kookas, and the burned LA bulbs. I taught my students to always to speak up, to use their First Amendment right, the right to speak out, the right to assemble, the right to protest. Do so. It's important.
Into believing that I am something as evil as the pedophiles they're protecting. Why am I sitting in my room crying to myself, knee-deep in financial despair, with no way to breathe, when these multi-millionaire corporations roll out fees and fines to nickel and dime us? Why am I being summoned to court to explain myself when I've been struggling to find a job for months? Why am I being made to feel like the only way is to play their game or give up and die? Why am I contemplating giving up and dying? Because that's what they want me to feel. They want me anxious and terrified, and I am. But I did not live through a childhood of being gaslit and manipulated by my own father for another fucking white man to tell me I'm a piece of shit and I don't deserve to be here. Camps and bombs. I deserve to be here, and these people deserve to be brought to justice. I am terrified, but I'm not going to make this easy for them because they have never made anything easy for me. I'm terrified, but I'm here like I deserve to be, like we deserve to be. I am terrified. Fuck hiding. Here I am. Here we are. Yeah. Jobs. They're still going on vacations. They're still laughing and smiling like people aren't dying at their hands. I am terrified, and they're drinking cocktails and eating babies. Files came out. Names were released. What has our government done? Are the so-called elite as terrified as we are, or are they finding too much joy in rubbing their pizza parties in our faces? I'm terrified because I have a worthless government who elevates pedophilic children murderers while sending untrained terrorists door to door to remove law-abiding, economy-contributing people. I am terrified, and I feel powerless because my representatives are somehow allowed to ignore their constituents. I am terrified, and I feel powerless because the people we put in power want to protect pedophiles. Can we finally reciprocate? Can you lock hand in hand with your fellow man and actually mean it? They're going to steal the November election. They want us to feel completely powerless and at odds with one another because nothing is happening to stop it. Just remember why nothing is happening to stop it. They're not afraid of us. They've sowed the seeds of distrust across the masses, and now they're content to reap the rewards. My misery and terror are not.
Look around you today. Thousands, millions across this nation, from small towns like ours to big cities like Minneapolis, standing shoulder to shoulder on No King's Day 3.0. Not because we hate one man, but because we refuse to lose what we love, this country and its people, to one man. America was born on a very simple ideal. No kings, no crowns, no tyrants. This idea is exactly why 5 months ago, 7 million Americans across the nation joined together in protest on No King's Day 2.0. In protest of the Trump administration, in protest of ICE and their illegal, inhumane agenda, in protest of invasion, in protest of martial law, in protest of militarizing our streets against our own citizens, declaring a quote-unquote war from within, all in the name of liberty and justice for all. But No King's Day 2.0, that was before the execution of Renee Good, before the execution of Alex Reddy, before Trump invaded Venezuela and declared himself their leader, before Trump started this apocalyptic war in Iran, before he called for the execution of 6 Democrats in Congress, and before we learned of his war crimes in the South Caribbean Sea. These reasons and more are why we say today, louder than ever, no kings! Nothing about this fight is arbitrary. It's for the mother who lost her son in Trump's war overseas. It's for the families who have been torn apart by aggressive, inhumane, and lawless actions from ICE across this country, designating communities as targets and neighborhoods as battlegrounds. And our founders did not spill blood at Lexington and Yorktown so a single president could act like a monarch, turning America first into Trump first. Why is it important to be here today? Well, if we let this continue, if we don't fight back, what's to come? More families in mourning? More power consolidated to one office? A republic that unilaterally bends to the will of one man compared to we the people? Our children deserve better. Our immigrants deserve better. This nation deserves better. We deserve better. The American identity is hanging in the balance, and today we protest because we all refuse to let it slip away. Here's a good question. What do we do when the chants today fade, the signs go down, and every single one of us goes home?
Vote!
That's one of them. There's a couple things here. We organize. We show up in our neighborhoods. We talk to our neighbors. We listen, we persuade, we change minds, we build bridges where we can, and we draw red lines where we must. And in November, like Brittany said, we vote. Yeah! We vote like democracy itself is on the ballot because God damn it, it is. In every midterm race, in every local election, we uplift candidates who swear an oath to the Constitution, common decency, common sense, and real material change for the benefit of the people, not baseless loyalty to any one man. Yeah. We build power that lasts. Get out there and join local groups. Run for the school board. Run for city council. And hold every elected official accountable. Support the lawsuits and the lawmakers that are fighting for our rights, the organizers feeding the movement, and the voices that refuse to be silenced. This is not a one-day event. In one way or another, it must be sustained until balance is restored, until the republic is renewed, and until no one mistakes themselves for a king ever again. They want submission. They want submission, and they won't get it.
Extraordinary times require extraordinary actions, and we are living at a very unusual and troubling times. These guys from ICE wearing masks, beating people, shooting them in cold blood in the United States without consequence. People, this goes way back 249 years.